Well, Twitter was all a Twitter after the debate. So I'm going to kind of give you just a few of my thoughts on it, and I've got some tweets here you might want to see. So stick with me, folks, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and that was a really good debate. And even though she was still a little biased, I thought the moderator did a halfway decent job. So it was very interesting, but in my opinion, President Trump just mopped the floor with Biden. So let's just see some of the Twitter things that are going on, and I think some of them will interest you. The first one, Liberty Hangout here, says, Joe Biden's debate night summed up. Racist President Abraham Lincoln told the poor boys to stand by because Russian pawn Rudy Giuliani is trying to sabotage my campaign. And that's pretty much what it was. He made a mistake with the poor boys. He wanted to say proud boys. He said poor boys. And he brought in Abraham Lincoln and pretty much called him a racist. And then, of course, Russia raised its head again, and that was what they were claiming was all the Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon are doing is just passing out Russian propaganda. But you know what? The question is, if that's, Russian propaganda, then how did it get on Hunter Biden's laptop? Explain that one. Okay? So anyway, I just think that this was a good summary, okay? So let's go on because there's better. Babylon Bee put this out. Winning. Trump walks on stage holding Hunter Biden's laptop. Now remember, Babylon Bee is a parody site. And, it's fake news you can trust. They come up with some of the best things. Well, I just want to put this in here. Guess what? Facebook has decided the Babylon Bee needs to be fact-checked. It's stuff. And it's like, on Tuesday, Facebook stood by its decision to demonetize the Christian satire site, the Babylon Bee, over a satire article regurgitating a witch joke from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Facebook claimed that the article, Senator Hirono demands ACB be weighed against a duck to see if she's a witch, actually incites violence. We found us a witch. May we burn her? How do you know she's a witch? Oh, she looks like one. Well, we did do the nose and the hat. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I thought I'd share that with you. Just insanity rules. But let's get back to what went on. This one I thought was very interesting. And I saw it actually, a couple of sources cited this. White House source tells OAN Trump walked off stage, looked at staff and said, let's finish this, and walked off to the motorcade. Ooh, I'm so excited. I hope he means the same thing that I think he means. I don't know if it is, but boy, it sure would be nice to just get the truth out there, because I think, that was something that I saw in President Trump's demeanor when he was on stage. He's not worried, or there's no concern about the American people falling for Joe's lies at this point, because he knows what's there and he knows it's going to come out. And I think the timing is probably pretty right for it. So let's see what he means when he says, let's finish this. Ooh. How exciting. Sends chills up and down my spine. I am so ready for this. Oh, I don't even want any more popcorn at this point. It's like, just get to it. So we'll see. Anyway, NPR, which remember, our taxpayer money goes to NPR. Why haven't you seen any stories from NPR about New York Post's Hunter Biden story? Read more in this week's newsletter. Well, it says here, we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. And we don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the Leslie Stahl thing in just a second here. So Yeah, that's what they said. Well, then you get Brett Baer retweeting this by this Susan, who is Washington Examiner's chief congressional correspondent. And she said, quote, not really a story. Boggles the mind. NPR covered Steele dossier with great enthusiasm. Taxpayer funded. Quote, federal funding is essential to public radio service to the American public. Its continuation is critical for both stations and program producers, including NPR. And then they have that to say, that it's not a story. Oh, no, it's not. You know, even if they would just say, we think it's not a valid story, but still they should be reporting on it. But oh, no, our taxpayer dollars at work. I agree with you, Brett Baer. That is very true. So then this one says, LOL, a West Coast lib I know just texted me and said Trump got so much better since the last debate that he'd be afraid of what would happen if they had another one. Well, why do you think Biden didn't want to have that other one? I mean, they actually, the Trump campaign, the Trump team, wanted to have 4 debates. They were wanting to add another extra one, after they canceled that one. But oh no, they don't want that. By the way, I do have the Ghislaine Maxwell documents. I just haven't had time to go through them all. There were 19 different documents. Some of them are not very long. They're different exhibits and stuff. But frankly, I just didn't have time. So I will work on that and see what I can find in there. I've heard there's not a lot, but then again, I heard that from somebody who doesn't really know all the stuff that I know. And, I'm not a fan of Jack Posobiec, but he has a couple of good posts tonight. So Jake Tapper, of course, was talking about there being no evidence against Hunter. And he said, hi, Jake Tapper. We're both in D.C. You say there's, quote, no evidence against Hunter? Want to have a look at the hard drive yourself? I can set that up for you right here, right now, because Jack works for OAN, and OAN has a copy of the hard drive. Yep. So, yeah, do it. I dare you. Do it. The crickets. That's pretty much it. I think that if Jake Tapper is going to make that claim, I think anybody who makes that claim needs to take a look at it first before they can say. But of course, they don't deal in facts and evidence. So, anyway, this one really got me. This person says, I'm logging off of Twitter because it'll never top this. And thank you for this moment. Okay, so here's this person. They're blue check, by the way. She's a corporate attorney and investment advisor, GA state representative, chief deputy whip of the Georgia House Dems. Okay. And she says, did President Trump just say 545 kids they can't find their parents for came over through cartels and coyotes? How in the world does a coyote bring a whole human across the border? Or, oh my goodness. Oh, yes. And here's her bio. So, you just gotta ask. Okay, I hope that all of you realize that when President Trump was talking about coyotes, he was not talking about the animal. He was talking about the human sort, which are people that get paid to bring kids across the border. And not only kids, but also a lot of times they're being mules for the cartels. And, they use these kids to cross the border all the time. It's like common knowledge. Everybody knows this, don't they? Oh, evidently not. So, yeah, how does a coyote do it? Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I understand why this guy said that then. I'm logging off of Twitter because it'll never top this. Oh, crazy stuff. But hey, guess what? Yeah, lots of polls, and the polls were very much in favor of Donald Trump, and they were all different kinds, actually. But almost all of them I saw here were, well, this President Trump retweeting him. So, of course, he's only going to retweet the ones that have him winning. But I saw a couple of them that said otherwise, but they were very liberal outlets. And it was not on Twitter itself. It was somewhere else. So when they're on Twitter, we tend to do a really good job. And even Cheryl Atkinson did one. And it's like, yeah, they tied in what reality? See, there were a lot of them. A draw, I guess. So anyway, I thought he did an incredible job. He really did come across well, and the moderator didn't interrupt him too awful much. She did. She actually interrupted him more than Biden because she didn't like some of the things he said. By the way, this one right here, this 11 days that he just posted, it's about four and a half minutes long. It's really a good ad. So I'd play it, but the music on there, I just don't know if I could or not, and I don't want to take a chance. I'm kind of walking on thin ice right now with YouTube because they just age restricted 2 of my videos. It was from 2018, that special day in September that we all remember, and the same day a video about it in 2019. So I just thought it was really interesting. Why would they age restrict them? Honestly, I looked through them, I watched them again, and it's like, I don't get it. Why would it be age restricted out of all my videos? So I'm going to put in, and say that I don't see any reason why they should be. I mean, I don't say that much. One of them was just kind of like speculating, writer speculation. Honestly. And I even said that it was like a couple minutes long. And I said, well, as a writer, I just kind of wonder because there were a lot of documents during the Kavanaugh hearing that were not released. Bush was not releasing them. And I just speculated that I wondered if maybe those documents that had to do with Kavanaugh that were not being released actually had to do with that day in September. So I don't know. I just thought it was really weird. Okay, speaking of, Leslie Stahl, and this Amber Athey says, I cannot overstate how embarrassing this is for CBS. And, here we have one that says, this exchange between Trump and Leslie Stahl is insane. She repeatedly insists the Biden laptops can't be verified, so reporters shouldn't talk about it. Trump asks her why it can't be verified, and her answer, because it can't be verified. It's like, what? Huh? Oh, and then this one, Leslie Stahl discredited, this is from Kayleigh McEnany. Leslie Stahl discredited herself. She repeatedly cited the Senate GOP report on Biden corruption. And President Trump said, do you think it's okay for the mayor of Moscow's wife to give him millions? Leslie falsely says, no real evidence of that. It's in the very report she cites. So, they're not even using logic. I mean, Leslie Stahl just was not a nice woman. I don't use words like that, but, just kind of made me think of the word itchy. In a 60 Minutes interview, Trump says the Obama administration spied on my campaign. Leslie Stahl tells him there's no real evidence of that. Oh, just... ew. Trump says, no, they spied on my campaign. Stahl says, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things that we can't verify. They have in the past. There have been things that they didn't. Trump says they spied on my campaign and they got caught. Leslie Stahl says, no. I don't know what the third one was, but, it's just really, seriously, this is how you do things on 60 Minutes. I have no respect for them anymore. Didn't have a whole lot of respect before this anyway, but... I just can't understand why they are so quick to say there's no evidence of that and so adamant about it. I really love for somebody who does body language to do body language on her with that video. And if you haven't seen the video, oh shoot, I should have put that in here. I'll find the link to the Facebook video of it and post that in when I do all the links for this, okay? So I hope I remember. If I don't remember, somebody make a comment and remind me. Because if you haven't seen it, what happened was someone was recording all of this with a cell. And I tell you what, if it were me, I would want that to happen too. Because they chop up all these interviews And, what you necessarily say is not what they necessarily cover. And it may, they can chop them up in ways to make you say things or sound like you're saying things. Well, we've seen this a lot with President Trump. They make him sound like he's saying things. And if they just let it run a second or two more, you'd hear that that's not what he was saying. But, oh no, that's how they work. So anyway, Leslie Stahl, she was just really rude, arrogant, condescending. This is kind of a pattern I'm seeing with those on the left. Condescending is pretty much the summary word. They all think that they're so much better than Trump, and it just is irritating. Well, by now you probably already know this, that the Biden insider claims he was the recipient of the email, and they have more than just him. Okay, this is the guy, Bobolinsky. And he says he's got all the documentation to prove it and that he's turning it over to the FBI. But somebody down here, oh yeah, our friend Cat Turd, he says he better make copies. Ray will destroy them for his Democrat masters. So yeah, you need to make sure that he has a copy of that. I hope he has one. But, maybe there are some actual genuine people in the FBI who are honest. I don't want to say everybody, but there seem to be a lot more than we thought. It's not just the upper levels. There's a lot of people. So, it's just very frustrating that our law enforcement will do that. Well, just a couple of extra things here. First of all, Charlie Brown's not going to be on regular TV this year. I just can't believe, I can believe it, because if, you've watched the Charlie Brown Christmas special, Linus tells the entire Christmas story, like right from the Bible. And I have been amazed that they let it go as long as they did. But now it's not going to be on regular over-the-air TV, which is what people like me have instead of cable. So I guess if you have Apple Plus, Apple Plus TV? Yeah, Apple TV Plus. That shows how much I know about it. But yeah, if you have that, you can watch them. But other than that, no, they're not going to be on. Not on broadcast television. And it's, they've been on like every year since it came out. And that was 1965. But not this year. No. We're taking Christmas away from you already. Well, I asked you to do this, and I just wanted to kind of recap, in that very short live stream that I did. I'm really sorry. My camera didn't have a lot on it in the battery, and I knew it, but I was hoping to just be able to say a few things because I knew there just wasn't enough time today. I'm recording this, on Thursday night. There wasn't enough time today to get everything in that I wanted to get in. So I just had so many things to do. Plus, when I record it and then it has to render and then upload it, it usually, depending on the length of the video, can take like 3-4 hours or longer, depending on the video. So there just wasn't enough time. And frankly, it was an absolutely glorious day outside. It was like 73 or 4, and there was a nice warm breeze and, sunny. I'm sorry, I just couldn't sit inside recording and editing and everything to a video. I needed to be away from the computer, and I finished taking care of the yarn, and I actually did some crocheting, so that was good, and got a little live stream in. I wish I could have been just about 3 or 4 minutes longer, but that anyway. So I was listening to the guy on the radio. We have a guy here, Casey Hendrickson, who is on the talk radio, and he said that if you go to Google and you put in happy and then some kind of ethnicity and then woman, you get an interesting effect. And so I went to DuckDuckGo, of course, first. That's what I usually use. And you see, you put in happy black woman and you see pictures of a happy black woman. I mean, these are good pictures, nice pictures. They're smiling, they're happy. All you see is a woman in the picture, right? Well, when you go to Google, you see pretty much the same thing. All right? I mean, lots of the same pictures, just one person. Well, here you've got a group, and here you have a couple, but almost all of them are like one person in the picture, and it's a woman, a black woman, and she's smiling, and that's what you would expect to have, right? Well, then when you put in happy white woman, well, this is what you get for DuckDuckGo. You get these white women, which, by the way, if you're not blonde, you probably felt a little, the first ones are always blonde, it seems like. And yes, I'm a blonde. Well, now I'm gray, gray blonde right now, in that transitional phase. But again, you see one single person. Well, here you've got some guy in there, but almost all the pictures are like one person and just one woman. Well, that again is what you would expect. But when you put in happy white woman for Google, look what you get. Now, I have no problems with women and, being married, having kids, whatever the case is. I have no problems with that. I have no problems with biracial marriages. I don't care. I don't look at people's skin color. I actually do what Martin Luther King Jr. wanted people to do. I look at the quality of their character. And so the thing is, though, it's just so obvious when you see this. It's like, wait, this is what you get? You get, you put in happy white woman and you get this picture? You've got pictures here. This is not the same. This is really bizarre. Now, Casey did say that, look at this. Like, what? You can't be happy without a man if you're a white woman? No, that's not true. Anyway, so Casey said, well, let's try it with other ethnicities, and he did like Asian and everything. So it worked the same. I mean, it didn't matter what ethnicity you were. It was just pictures of a happy woman of that ethnicity, unless you used white. And then white, you got the mixed couples, had to have, it's like they had to have a black in the picture, which again, I have no problems with. It's just when you put in that search term, why is it for black women, you get just pictures of a single black woman, one person in each picture. But then when you do it for the white women, you don't get that. I mean, that seems to me like suspicious. Well, anyway, so then Casey said try to do it with a man, and you put in, happy white man, and this is what you get. You get pictures of, well, most of the pictures are a happy white man, most of them, until you start getting down here, and it's like, really, why are you putting these people? I don't get it. That doesn't happen. That's in DuckDuckGo too. But then when you do it here, look, the very first picture is not a happy white man. Neither is the next one. But then you get this same guy. But then again, you get the couple picture. It's just almost like there's a double standard. And I guess people were complaining to Google about it. And Google was like, well, I don't know what the problem is. There's no problem. It's just odd. I guess if you put in Caucasian, it comes out the same. But just kind of weird, What do you get? But anyway, so I just thought I'd point that out to you. It was kind of an oddity that I found right before I'd done that live stream. So I wanted you guys to check it out. I hadn't even checked it out yet, but I trust Casey. He usually comes up with some really good stuff. So anyway, I wanted to remind you that when you're seeing this, it'll be Friday, the 23rd, and at 9:00 p.m. tonight, we're going to have a live stream. We're not going to have a trivia this time, okay? I just don't have enough energy because I had to watch the debate and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to forego that, and I still have to get the prizes out for the other. But anyway, so I just wanted to remind you of that. Don't forget, it's going to be at 9 p.m. I don't know what the topic is really the news, the headlines. I don't know what it's going to be, but I have a bunch of stuff stored up, from today and yesterday that I'm sure I will find enough to keep everybody entertained for a while because there's just so much happening in the news. And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Wouldn't it be fun if POTUS really decided to get it done? So we're looking forward to whatever he meant by that, because I'm sure he didn't just say it off the cuff. There was a reason why he said it. So that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I hope to see you in the live stream tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern.